Nick, let's talk about the Alabama Crimson Tide. As everybody knows, college football playoff official, selection committee rankings came out. Alabama ranked 8th at this point in time. And a lot of people probably care a lot about that. But you know who doesn't care? That is Nick Saban. And he said some really interesting stuff in a press conference today, Nick. Let's get into the article and we can talk about what it means on the other side. This is, of course, from AL.com. Says Alabama football opened the college football playoff rankings at number 8 when they were unveiled on Tuesday. On Wednesday, Saban was asked about his reaction to the university's spot in the initial rankings and whether the Tide was thinking about it or focusing on winning. Saban said, "We're not even focused on, you said focused on winning. I think we want to focus on the execution that we need to get so we can have the opportunity to have success. Win, whatever you want to call it, and practice every day the technical things that are going to help you be able to carry in over into games that will actually help you execute so you have the opportunity to be successful against really good players and really good teams. The Crimson Tide's matchup with LSU will have major implications for the SEC West race as the regular season begins to wind down. The game also serves as an opportunity for revenge for the Tigers that beat Alabama last season, effectively ending their playoff hopes." Now, Nick, I love what Nick Saban says here. They ask him, "Are you focused on college football rankings? Are you focused on winning?" He goes, "I'm not even focused on winning, much less the college football rankings. I'm focused on executing every day, getting better, and putting ourselves in the best place to be successful in these big games." I think what Saban's saying is, one foot in front of the other, one thing at a time. We haven't even finished our practices for the week. I'm focused on practice right now. I'm focused on executing and getting better every day. When the game comes, I'm going to be focused on the game and executing in the game. If we win or lose, draw, whatever the case, the outcome may be, we're going to put ourselves in the best situation to be successful. So Saban's focusing on the little things moving forward into the last 4 games of the schedule, Nick. And I think that is how Alabama's path to the college football playoff starts. Focus, don't look past anything, win these next 4 games, win the SEC championship, and then you get yourself into the college football playoff. And Nick Saban is just like everyone else. He's one guy, but he puts his pants on one leg at a time, does things in practice, one thing at a time. But Nick, I want to know what you think about all of these comments from Saban and just the matchup and Alabama's chances of getting into the college football playoff. But Alabama fans, huge game, probably biggest game of the season. Texas was big. I think this one just means a little bit more. I know Auburn's big, but right now, this one against LSU means a lot. Let us know in the comments below, what are your predictions for the score to the Alabama LSU game this weekend? But Nick, what are your thoughts on everything Alabama?
I think it's just an understanding of the genius of Nick Saban. He is the guy, and all the great coaches, whether they're college coaches like Saban, whether they're professional coaches like Bill Belichick or Andy Reid, they're focused on the process. They're focused on putting themselves with day-to-day habits and getting everything in situations to be successful, right? Don't focus too much on just your in performance on Saturday. Focus on the process that'll get you there. Because people that are goal oriented or teams that are goal oriented, they're like, hey, we're just looking for a win this Saturday, or hey, we're just trying to find a way to get to the SEC championship game, or whatever the goal may be. If you have any sort of stumbling block along the way, you won't be able to react because you'll feel like you fell and came up short, even if you haven't yet. A great example is the Alabama victory over Tennessee. That was a terrible first half for Alabama. A lot of teams would have felt, oh, gosh darn it, we had to beat the Vols. We're going to lose to Tennessee. The whole season's a loss. They will have fallen apart in the second half. Alabama under Nick Saban, they're so focused on the process. Hey, let's just execute one play at a time. Let's keep executing our game plan with whatever adjustments we have to make. Let's make big plays when the big plays are there to be made. And that's exactly what Alabama did. Big red zone stops, fourth down stops, defensive touchdowns, big plays from the offense, leaning on the running game when appropriate. That is how Alabama wins, especially in this nitty-gritty version of the Crimson Tide. People forget, I think it's one of those things we got so used to seeing Tua, Bryce Young, Mac Jones, just throwing the ball up and down the field with 5 first-round receivers on the field at the same time. It felt like dropping 40, 50 on everybody, throwing for 300 yards in the first half. That Nick Saban was winning national titles 10, 15 years ago at Alabama by playing this style, by focus on the process, focus on getting better every day at practice, and then being process minded throughout the entire game, weathering the ups and downs and finding ways to take over games in the third and fourth quarter and finish teams when the opportunity is there. This iteration of the Crimson Tide reminds me of those early Saban squads, and that's exactly what we're seeing from Nick Saban. And by the way, on that note, when any people who are worried that maybe Nick Saban was running towards the end of his college coaching career, I tell you what, he sounds like a guy who's more excited than at any point in the last decade, because now it's all about what he does best, and that's coaching these kids up and putting them in situations to be successful. This Crimson Tide team, a lot of people are sleeping on them right now, but just their mindset and their focus makes them a dangerous bunch as we get closer to the end of the regular season.
Yeah, Nick, and I agree with that completely. Saban focused on the process. This guy is so hyper focused. I've actually, watched a day in the life video of Nick Saban. He talks about how in season he eats the same thing every day for every meal during college football season. He's actually like has everything down to a T. He does the same thing every single day, same meals every single day, because he is focused, like you said, on that process. So much so the process carries on to his personal life. Like whether I don't remember exactly the details, but whether it was, get home, watch TV from 6 to 6:30, eat dinner from 6:30 to 7:30, etc., etc. He is so hyper focused during the season that now I think he's probably even more reinvigorated, like you said. He is in his best life, just absolutely focused on the game of football and back to 100%, just trying to grind back to the top. Because I think that's when these Alabama teams were at their best, when they were working their way towards being the dynasty before they were considered the dynasty. And I feel like they're at that point again. And no one really is saying that Alabama can be the winner every single year in and out anymore. So I think that's exactly where Alabama wants to be. They want to have the doubters and they want to be able to grind and work their way back up to the top. And if I was anybody in Alabama's way, I would be absolutely frightened, because this Nick Saban led team is going to grind you out and have you play absolutely the worst games of your life. You will not want to play this Alabama defense. You will not want to play this Alabama team, Nick, especially if they make it in the college football playoff.